This is a video idea I've had for a few months now, going over individual replays and breaking down my thought process. Now that I've got a clear game plan for Plus R, it seemed like a good idea to try to make one of these videos. Along with that, having a competitive Pokemon series running on the channel gives me the chance to review replays for a game I'm pretty good at, so I'll be able to talk more in depth about each decision. We'll be starting with the Pokemon battles, a pair of games I played against one of the common voices in the ORA Discord, TeamCap. I've left a link to their video on Metacham in the description. It's a pretty good look at one of the format's more interesting Pokemon. But in these battles, they're using a team focused on Electrode. I've played this team a couple of times in first to threes, and it's always messed with me. Electrode is a very fast but very weak Pokemon, but Explosion was a borderline broken move in doubles until Generation 5. 250 base power, hits both of the opponent's Pokemon at full power, and cuts their defense in half before doing the damage calculation. Even with its pathetic base 50 physical attack stat, Electrode can make 1-for-2 trades against all but the bulkiest of Pokemon using Explosion. And that's to say nothing of its base 140 speed, making it the fastest Explosion user in the game. On Team Preview, that's what I'm preparing for more than anything. How can I get rid of Electrode without taking too much damage? I decide to lead Ludicolo and Snorlax as a rain mode that also does a good job of handling Latias, the Pokemon they've been putting beside Electrode most often. But they instead put Gengar next to it, who makes things a bit more tricky because it can explode as well, along with being immune to normal type attacks like Ludicolo's Fake Out and all the exploding moves. They double protect to get a feel for what I'm trying to do, and Rain Dance Snorlax isn't exactly common, so it's likely they didn't see it coming. Now while Ludicolo does outspeed Electrode in Rain, Hydro Pump's 20% chance to miss made it a risk I wasn't willing to take. This Snorlax doesn't have Protect, so it had to be sacrificed. I bring in Metagross, as it takes care of Gengar, and they bring in Latias, who deals with Zapdos and my own Latias pretty well. With Electrode gone, the game is now just about racking up damage. They double target Metagross, but Ice Beam needed to be a critical hit to get the KO. I explode in response to break Latias' substitute and take out Tauros to make it a 2-on-1 game. Tired of having all of my Pokemon vulnerable to Explosion, I decided to replace Snorlax with Gengar and ended up matching up with Cap again on the ORA ladder. This time, the lead choice was much simpler. Gengar is immune to Explosion, while Metagross heavily resists it. And here we see the Latias lead I was used to dealing with. They don't go for Explosion, knowing it won't do much, and instead go for Light Screen to make Latias' substitute harder to break with special attacks. Losing that speed tie was rough. I believe I was thunderbolting into Tauros to get rid of it in one turn, and was willing to eat the loss on Gengar when Latias inevitably attacked it back. Metagross doesn't have any trouble dealing with Latias, even if a substitute's up. This was a pretty interesting play. With Tauros still around but locked into Choice Band Earthquake, it couldn't touch my Latias. So there was the potential that it switched out to avoid being Dragon Clawed and reset its Choice Band. Regardless of what they switched into, Metagross would be in prime position to take the game if it was faster than the opponent. Thunder Wave put me in better position than raw damage would have. But they stay in, and I'm able to take out Tauros on the next turn, while Latios recovers some HP. Then Gengar comes in and makes things difficult. The best thing it could do for me is explode, and take Metagross and Latios down with it, because my last Pokemon has a good chance of beating Latios straight up in 2 turns. But that's not what I expected them to do, because Gengar is at full health, while both of my Pokemon are near death. I let Metagross get sacked, and then it gets very weird. All 4 of the Pokemon on screen have base speeds of 110, and they're all at the maximum speed of 350. That means it's a crapshoot on which order they're attacking in. This turn decides the game no matter who goes first. And I got lucky as can be that Tauros won the speed tie. Their Latios protects, meaning Gengar was probably going to explode. If that happens, they win. But Tauros takes out Gengar before it can boom, and that seals it. Now on to Guilty Gear, where I'll be looking at a match I played against an Order Soul recently. It's my favorite character to play against because of the dynamic it creates with Axel. With Order Soul, my goal is to prod them from about 2 character widths away. Order Soul wants to get in on Axel, but will use any large gaps to start charging its special meter to boost its attacks, something you need to be cautious of when playing Keep Away against it. I realize I'm not getting anywhere, so I burst to reset things and get the chance to gauge my options. A slightly delayed Renson off Crouching Punch catches them off guard, and puts them in the corner for a move that's a bit of a knowledge check. In the corner, you want to block this move standing as if it's coming straight at you. But Axel has a move that can pull you out of the corner just enough that you have to block it in the other direction, even if you blocked the starter. But he can also throw a move in between the starter and the overhead that will push you back into the corner, so you have to block it normally again. I catch them crouch blocking though, and go into a combo that you're better off simplifying. The Tiger Knee starter is cool, but you can make it way easier by jump canceling into Jump Dust and then going for the Axle Bomber. I've started getting better at the relaunch section of this combo, and am super close to getting an Ender on it too, which is just wild. Something like that seemed so far out of reach a few months ago. Round 2, I try to prod from the very start and get punished for it. I've been trying to get better at using Crouching Slash more often, so that's why you'll see a few preemptive uses of it throughout the round. I completely whiff an Air Bomber input here that, had it worked, could have led to a Bomber loop in the corner. Strive Brain gets me a lot in this round. I keep going for Renson like it's the full screen version it is in Strive, and always come up short. That used to really burn me when I was first playing Plus R, because Strive was my first Guilty Gear, and I gave it like 70 hours before moving over. My only use of Rashosen wins the game. I should have used it a lot more, since I was constantly out of Renson range, and it would have made them get in the air significantly easier. One of the best things about Axel is that he can hit airborne opponents from a lot of weird angles. Meanwhile, Rashosen is cancelable, meaning you can bait them into jumping by faking it. If you found this video interesting, leave a like and a comment that tells me as much. This video was really fun to do, so it would be great if it does well. On screen now are the latest videos in each of these series. The Pokemon video is on the left, the Guilty Gear video is on the right, and in the middle is a button that will subscribe you to the channel if you click it. Anyways, peace.